you probably won't be able to afford a house in a very, very long time. And I got some data that I'm going to show, and I got some other videos. So try not to laugh about this one because it's just so funny, and it's actually really sad, so I shouldn't laugh about it. But today we're going to go over why you probably won't be able to buy a house. So I watched this news articles on Fox Business to see what they say about the housing market, and they had these two nice commentators on, and they said that the housing frenzy is going to start again if the interest rate drops 1 point, right? So if it goes from like, what is it now, like 7 to 6, then everybody's going to start jumping in, and it's going to be this whole big crazy thing where everybody's going to be like, we're ready to buy and we're ready to do this. And then I wonder myself, what are they smoking? What are all these people smoking? Because I don't know anybody that's doing really great and is actually like, yes, let's go buy a house. So let's watch this video, and then we're going to chat about it.
Rates go down just another percentage point. That's what I'm hoping for by year, and prices are going to go through the roof. And the reason for
that would be around 6%, get to that level.
Because everyone will come out and buy. There are probably 10 buyers on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come down that are actually active in the market. So everybody's going to charge the market.
Okay, so we just saw Barbara on the video saying that she has, if the rates are going to drop, we're going to have 10 people ready to buy. 10 people are going to be ready on the sideline. So I ran the numbers, and I said, for an average house, I'm trying to do the averages in the US, right? So I'm looking at it like the average house mortgage rate from 8% to down to 5% is a difference of $594 a month. And this might seem a lot, but it's actually not too bad if you think about it. So it's $600 more. What is that? So when we look at $600, that is getting a used car. That is what a car payment used to be, right? They said, oh, I have a $500 car payment. So that is kind of what a car payment used to be. So when you're talking about $600, that's a car payment basically, right? That is, I wouldn't even say too bad to own a house, and I don't think that that's going to really deter people from not buying. I think it's all these other factors, like credit card debt, like not having a job that pays enough, gonna get laid off, and the recession, how we're doing right now. And I don't think it's the $600 per se that's going to discourage somebody. If you saved up for a house for a long time, I don't think $600 a month is going to swing it. You're just going to buy something that is less expensive, right? So you're still going to do it. People are going to, lower their prices a little bit. You negotiate, and you're still going to buy. You're not going to buy something that big, but you're still going to do it. You just might have to, instead of getting 2,500 square feet, you might only get 1,900. But hey, you jumped in and you did it. So what's worrisome is actually credit card debt, right? So when you look at the credit card debt that all these people have, and Barbara's saying, oh my gosh, I have 10 buyers. And on the way here, I was thinking about, who is she talking about? Because let's jump into another video that I got for you guys, and we'll come back.
Watch is the number of delinquencies. And according to this report, nearly 9% of credit card balances went into delinquency in the first quarter of this year. So nearly a tenth of Americans just couldn't keep up with payments in the last few months. Now, that's the bad news.
Okay, we're back. So 10% of credit card delinquencies, right? Crazy amount. So that means that they're past 30 days. So that's going to ding the credit, right? And that means that there's going to be issues with buying a house. So, and who has credit card debt? Millennials, Gen Zers, and maybe some boomers, but probably millennials, right? So then it came to thinking, who was Barbara talking about when she's saying that she has 10 buyers ready on the sideline? And then it hit me like a lightning bolt. It's her billionaire friends. It's her billionaire friends who have millions that want to buy up hundreds of units. Because then it comes to think, oh, a $300,000 mortgage you know, is 600, you know, it's going to be $600 difference, right? From 5% to 8%. So, and this is where it hits me. This is where it hits me. When you're talking about taking out millions, like $100 million loan to buy up 200 units, 300 units, and buy up a huge complex in Miami or a huge complex in Idaho or San Francisco or something where it's just outlandish, where you're going to rent out 50, 60, 100 plus units, then all of a sudden the interest rate really matters. And now, this is where it's so funny to me. She's not talking about the common folks. She's talking about her friends, the ones with the yachts, the ones with the big money. And she's not talking about millennials or Gen Zers. No, she's talking about the uber wealthy that are waiting on the sideline to jump in, and with the interest rates. So it's always funny to see these people come on the news. It's not the normal common folks like you and me that jump on the news. It's almost like delusional people that jump on and say, you know, we're gonna buy. I have 10 buyers sitting on a sideline just waiting to pull the trigger. But for us, $600, if you really wanted to do it, you probably buy something cheaper and you get a cheaper car, you get a used one, and you'll be fine, right? But when you're gonna make $100 million investment, the interest rate really matters. Even in the millions, the interest rate's gonna matter a lot because that could be breaking even or making a huge profit. So what do you do about that? So when I was driving up here and I was thinking, you gotta be thinking, rents have always gone up at 6% consistently, right? So her friends are constantly making more and more money and squeezing the middle class out of everything. And then you're like, how can you protect yourself? Well, you got to buy. But when you buy, you have all these other variables also, like insurance, like property taxes that are going to go up, and it's going to squeeze you and pinch you again. So you're no better off almost with renting as you are with buying, because they're going to squeeze you regardless. So you are between a rock and a hard place. You can be in this boat where Barbara and her friends are going to squeeze every living dime out of you, or you can be in this boat over here where insurance and property taxes and your HOA is going to squeeze everything out of you. So now what do? Well, yeah, that's a question. If you have an answer to that, let me know below, because I just can't come up with something quite smart to think about. How do you protect yourself? Because if you're living in Florida and insurance just went up so much, what are you going to do? How are you going to make it out on top? Because they said you got to be a homeowner. And I do agree that if rates are going to come down, you might see a jump in equity, right? You see that because of inflation and all that. But rents don't come down, and property prices, there's other people on property prices don't come down. Well, if nobody's buying and you got to sell, you got to lower the price. That's the only thing that's going to help to attract lucrative buyers. So you're going to find deals eventually, and you can actually probably negotiate so much less that 2%, that $600 payment isn't going to matter, because you can negotiate a better deal. So what do you do if you can't afford to buy a house and you're stuck with renting? Because you're getting pinched regardless. So there's no middle section where there's an alternative to buying and renting. It's like you almost got to be off the grid, having a homestead exemption or something, so you can actually make it and not worry about it. So you got to do, but then you got to work remote or do something. So it's really predicament. And with the recession coming and all these tech layoffs, so when you're going to try to buy and your lender's going to look at it and you got laid off, they want to see that you can keep the job, or they're not going to give you the loan. So then it's back to renting again, and you're back to Barbara's friends where they're trying to squeeze every living dime out of you in order for them to keep it rolling and buy more properties. So yeah, it is very, very tricky to navigate it. And sometimes I walk in these gorgeous areas where houses are $2 to $3 million, and I see these fancy cars, and I wonder, are they also in delinquent with credit card debt? 10% of those? I doubt it. Those people? Nah. It's just us. I'm in that age group, and I'm not in the 10%, but I know people that probably are, that are delinquent on credit card debt. And I just haven't, they're not going to come and tell me, but it's bad. And the recession's here. And in that other video, if you watch both of them, they said, oh, you're going to have, there's tools out there for you to kind of ease the pain, and they'll sit together with you and actually help you kind of get over it and come up with a budget. And I say most people do know how to budget. It's just that living expenses are so bloody high. Let me know if you think that people don't know how to budget, or if it's just mismanagement of money. I don't think it's mismanagement of money. I just think that they are paying their bills, working as hard as they can, and they try to make ends meet, and the credit card's the only way to go in these desperate times, because there's just not a lot else. There's just not a lot left on meat on the bone for you to go out and do crazy things. And they said, oh, you got to cut down on vacation, and you need to cut down on this. And I'm looking at it like, the vacations aren't what millennials and Gen Zers are probably doing with their credit card. It's probably paying bills, probably doing all kinds of, shopping. That's why Macy's and all these stores are still struggling, because they're not spending money there. And utilities went up so much. So instead of us worrying about that, we should, about the credit card delinquency, we should start investigating why did utilities go up so much? And why did my utility bill, my gas bill in Las Vegas here from last year was $68, heating my hot tub, everything, my house. This year, I was gone for over a month and didn't use any gas, and my gas bill was $200. And it's not because I had a gas leak. It's just that, and I didn't use the hot tub. It's just because the price of everything just went skyrocketed, and salaries didn't go up that much. So, but hey, Biden economics are working, right? And it's funny when I walk in these lots, because a year ago during COVID, there was nothing for sale. RVs like this, not for sale. Now, bunch of RVs for sale, bunch of toy haulers for sale, bunch of ATVs for sale, and it's crazy. Everybody is struggling. If you're in the middle and upper middle class, if you're in the top class, you're buying developments just like this. I've seen them all across Vegas, and guess what? They're not for sale. They're for renting out. So probably Barbara's friends again, buying up the real estate, or overseas investors buying it up, renting it out. And I saw another video the other day that said, this woman came on and said, oh, I was ready to buy a house, but then I found this one, and then I don't have to worry about plumbing, and I still live here, and I don't have to worry about the air conditioner breaking. I don't have to worry about nothing, and I just pay my rent. That is great marketing on their end to not, for you to not buy. But, as buying gets more expensive, and insurance and all that, and these companies with renting it out need to make a profit, so you got to pay regardless. You got to pay, and you got to pick your poison. You want to jump in and be a homeowner, or you want to be renting and do it that way. Both have pros, both have cons. You let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one.